Lecture topic: Success After Struggle.
Sabit Bunani Rahmatullah alayhi, a very great personality, a very special student of Hazrat Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So he says that I struggled with my nafs. I forced it, I dragged it, however we wish to describe it, for 20 years in waking up at the night and performing Salah and engaging in the ibadat of Allah Ta'ala. So for 20 years I battled with it, and after 20 years, then the next 20 years I thoroughly enjoyed it. So the first 20 years I battled with my nafs, and then the next 20 years I thoroughly enjoyed waking up at night and making ibadat. Now the lesson to learn in this is that enjoyment everybody is wishing for, but he didn't give up after one day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, because the enjoyment is not the matloob and the maqsood. The enjoyment is not what we worship Allah Ta'ala. So though for 10 years, 15 years, the enjoyment still didn't come as we might think about it, but that was not the point. He wasn't doing it for the enjoyment, but he's giving us the lesson that 20 years, if it had to carry on for 40 years, he would have carried on 40 years. He would have carried on battling the nafs, but he needed to do what he had to do. He needed to fulfill what he needed to fulfill. So regardless of what struggle against the nafs was required, he was ready for it, and he did it. But then after 20 years of mujahada, though that is not the objective, Allah Ta'ala opened that aspect out as well, that enjoyment came in his ibadat. Now this struggle against the nafs, this is the primary thing. And the person who shies away from the struggling against the nafs, then there's nothing that's going to be achieved, neither in terms of deen and even in terms of dunya also. Even the dunya of a person will be in a decline, and it will be going in a wrong direction if there isn't the struggle against the nafs. A person now is squandering his money. Why? Because of the nafs. So now even his dunya is going to suffer, and then if it's against shariat as well, then his deen is also suffering. So this is the lesson, especially now when the environment sometimes changes. In a few days' time there will be the holiday, so the environment will change. When the environment changes, the Nafs and Shaytan come to a high. If a person hasn't prepared his mind and heart, hasn't determined to himself to struggle against that nafs, then this is what Shaitan and nafs will try to, and will be waiting to try to do, to now wash away everything, whatever efforts were made, whatever the person strived against that nafs in that time that he was in the madrasa. So now nafs and shaitan now will try to wipe it out. So this is the most important thing. We program ourselves for many things, but to program our hearts and minds for this. But what will help this? One is dua. And not just dua in passing, just like we did something, we felt we did it, but in a very dedicated manner. 2 rakats nafil, salatul haja daily, and dua. And then increasing the dhikr of Allah Ta'ala. Because this is the spiritual energy. To the extent the spiritual energy has been increased, that helps to defeat nafs and shaitan. So these are two, among many other things, two very important aspects that need to be done, and to refocus the heart, to keep reminding ourselves what is our greatest challenge out there, and to prepare ourselves to undertake whatever it comes to suppress the nafs and to defy shaitan. Allah Ta'ala give us.
अल्लाह अल्लाह कैसा प्यारा नाम है, आशिकों का मीना और जाम है।